In this quick video, I'm going to take you for a look at some of the simple tips and tactics in Airmech. Some you may know, however a vast majority of people don't know some of them. Therefore, there may be some parts of this video that you think are pointing out the obvious. However, due to the game being in beta, some of the features of the game aren't fully explained to the player. First up is the ability to recycle units. Now if you have units lying around that you no longer need, you can pick up these units, hover over one of the bases you control, and hold space to recycle them. This gives you back the unit's initial cost of resources, and leads on nicely to my next point. Now if you want to learn how to recycle more than one unit at a time, you'll have to know how to pick up multiple units. Most people know that you can pick up multiple units that have just been produced at a base, however many don't know that the key that allows you to pick up multiple units that are on the ground is the spacebar. All you have to do is hold down the spacebar and you will pick up units below you up to the maximum carry capacity of the mech you're using. It's pivotal that when the game begins reaching the mid to end game scenario, that you start to recycle some of those units that are just no longer necessary. Especially if you're running low on command points and desperately need to build a bigger attack force. You should look around for things like extra money makers that aren't on nodes, or capture units that aren't doing anything, or even some of your defences that you feel are worth risking for that extra Longhorn, or even Goliath. Near the endgame scenario, you're likely to have a big amount of resources, so you might as well recycle weaker units and replace them with a stronger, more expensive unit. Another good tip that many people don't know is that you can repair your deployed units by picking them up and flying over the top of a friendly base. This will quickly regenerate the health of your units as well as your mech. Seeing as though Airmech does not currently have some sort of mass commands mechanic, you can use a thing called linking to link specific units to one another, which entails making one unit follow another. To link units together, you have to first pick up a unit and select the option to link. You will then drop that unit. If you pick it up again, you can hold shift and right click on any unit you wish to link that unit you're holding to. This allows you to essentially make your own squads of units that you can send off. For example, you could link a load of Longhorns to a Goliath and send the Goliath into the enemy base. All those Longhorns will then follow the Goliath, which is acting as a sort of commander unit. This tactic is helpful as it ensures that your force is ready to attack at just the right time, so you don't have to spend precious seconds deploying each individual unit when the shit hits the fan. Now a good tactic that is likely to really piss off your opponents is to go and destroy their moneymakers. This will of course stop them from having as much of an income as your team and will disallow them from producing units as frequently. That being said, the other team is then likely to employ the tactic against you in retaliation, so you should keep going and checking that your moneymakers are still there, as it's very easy to not notice. This is one of those tactics that is fairly obvious but is definitely worth a mention. Dropping units into the back of an enemy base is a good way to distract the opposition and do a bit of damage to their base health. I personally think it's a bit of a cheap tactic that you shouldn't really use. However, if the enemy hasn't bothered to defend their main base, then you can hardly blame the person using this tactic. Many people think that you can only build units when you're on one of the bases you control. This is not the case. You can set up a production line of units wherever you are on the map. What makes this easier, quicker and less dangerous is if you learn and memorize the hotkeys you have assigned to each unit to be produced. You can find those out by opening the production menu. Another good related tip is to set up a production line of units whilst you're dead, ready for when you actually come back to life. Now something that I've fallen prey to for a long time is not knowing how to cancel the production of a unit in the production queue. I have finally discovered that backspace removes the last unit in the production line. You can repeatedly press backspace until all of the units in your production line are gone. You can even cancel units that are a part way through being produced. And that's it for now. That is all my brain could think of with regards to some quick tips and tactics. I'm sure I shall come up with some more. When I do, I shall allow you to feast your ears upon them. But for now, so long.